My name is Luda. I'm a group product manager for AI in Rockwell Automation. And I was supposed to come here with my technical lead. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. So I will be more talking about the use case and a little bit of a deep dive how we implemented it. But bear in mind that I'm a product manager, and maybe some of the deep technical questions will need to go to my technical team. So a little bit about where we are working on and what are the challenges in industrial and manufacturing space. So actually the industry has been hit very hard during the last couple of years with supply chain issues during the COVID, labor shortages, inflation, cybersecurity risk, and more. And on top of that, there is a growing pressure to become more sustainable and resilient. So a lot of companies try to automate more and move production closer to their homes and simplify operations. But that's not easy, and especially when your systems are very old, and you can imagine how it is in industrial space. And the teams are also stretched very thin. So you are like in the bottleneck where you have to transform, but you don't have enough resources to do it. So how to begin making progress in this space? And what we have seen, it all starts with data and having data in the right place. So we learn different lessons from adjacent industries. And this is one example of how Tesla, for example, transform and create new opportunities and new class of automation systems. So what they do, they also start with data. They collect tons of data, like trillions and more road video footages to create and to have all the footages along with all the actions that were taken for them to create those neural networks and the models to create self-driving cars. And I also tried Waymo here in San Francisco. It's actually amazing experience. But it's not just the cars, so the same principle goes to other industries. And this is, for example, this is closer to our space. So this is manufacturing example from PepsiCo, how they apply the neural networks for food manufacturing. So they collect, again, tons of data and create models based on the pictures of the outcome of their Cheetos plant, and like thousands and even millions, probably, images from Cheetos and the corresponding operator actions that were made to fix the process of operations. And then again, it produces improved operations and improved results starting from data. So what about the maintenance? So the maintenance is the space where actually I'm working in Rockwell, and it's probably also very old, and in many cases it's not super automated process. So believe it or not, but a lot of our customers yesterday, they were just operating with pen and paper. So they had to go and do the firefighting instead of, spending time on planning and strategies on their facilities. And for their problems, and they do a lot of manual search. So they use literally papers, and there is some statistics that they spend up to 30% of time just searching the information. And what's the stakes? This is the average cost for 1 hour of downtime in industrial sites. So if you don't do the maintenance in time, and if your production stops for 1 hour, it will cost you like, $1 million. In oil and gas space, it's even more. It could be $1 million per hour. So that's why it's important to help that industry to become better. And that's what we are aiming to solve with the Copilot that I'm going to talk about. Now, with all the generative AI solutions that we have in place, they give us a lot of opportunity to collect the data and to make sense of this data more than ever. And in maintenance, specifically, what we do, we collect the data from the work orders, from the asset equipment manuals, asset details, and different types of historical data that you can find in the manufacturing plant facility. And also, if it's available, there is also sensor data that we can also use as another piece of a context to improve the maintenance operations. So in this little bulb that I call world knowledge actually sit all the foundational models and all the knowledge about the world that our great models have. But we add the context to this all foundational models by collecting all the specific industry information. Oops, it's going too fast, sorry. Let me quickly go back. Yeah, and one of the first things that actually we delivered with generative AI, it's shown on the screenshot, not sure if it's big enough, but this is the work order in digital form, not in the form of paper, and the tasks that are created in this work order are all automatically created from the generative AI, from large language models, using the context here. We also have different solutions with AI in Rockwell automation and in Fiix, such as anomaly detection, and we provide the nice dashboards, charts. Those are based on Looker, and those are all the things that we provide for our end customers, for our end users, for maintenance teams. Then this generative insights that I mentioned earlier with the automated generated tasks, and finally the maintenance Copilot. And maintenance Copilot, it helps to clarify maintenance tasks, to provide answers around the data. And as an example, if you are a new technician and you have not enough experience to find the information quickly, Copilot can actually give you the answer very instantly. So this is on high level how it looks like and how the Copilot-enabled workflow transforms the maintenance operations. So instead of spending maybe hours looking through the papers and searching the information manually and calling somewhere, you just use one place. You can use your laptop or like tablet to find whatever information you need. So probably all of you know what Copilot is these days. So this is a conversational interface that you can ask questions in English or any other language. I put the Klingon here. It's not just because to make it something up, but we have one big customer who's actually a big fan of Klingon, and she's a director of multiple facilities of North America, and she uses Klingon to talk with Copilot. It's very funny. She's a big advocate of our Copilot, and she sent us screenshots now, and she was so excited to find out that it works on Klingon. So Copilot, it has context, as I mentioned earlier, and it's pretty much a time saver for every role. So it works for both technicians and for managers, and we released the version of Copilot with prescriptive recommendation in July 2024, so almost a year ago. However, believe it or not, one of the first questions that started piling up were like, what is my risk of my plant that happened 2 days ago? Or what are the top highest priority work orders that I have to resolve in the nearest 7 days? And the classic prescriptive generative models, they give you sometimes not very precise information. So they can give you something that sometimes could be true, but sometimes not really, because they are language models and they are not intended to resolve these new numeric specific questions. So that's actually when we started considering what to do and how to address this specific problem to get the answers from the data, to provide not only option to talk different prescriptive type of questions, but also talk to your data directly. And that's actually when we started partnering with Snowflake, with Cortex Analyst. And pretty much that's what it allows us right now. So it allows us to answer those questions with a very high accuracy. So you can ask those questions, those specific questions like, what are my latest 3 work orders. And we are sure that like in over 95% of time, it will give very precise answer in very specific format. And that's actually was the time when we cracked this problem. So I'll go into a bit more details about how we did it. So again, it's a maybe slightly high level, but I can answer to some extent to more details for the backend. But how it works for user, you just ask a question in natural language. Then we also have a little thing that classifies it. Either is a prescriptive question or it's data question. So then if it is data question, then it goes to Cortex Analyst, then it generates SQL query, then executes it in the Snowflake and validating the accuracy, and then we create summary and links if needed. So for example, if they're asking about specific work order, we give the link so that they can just click it in the Copilot and then find the work order that is queried. So this is how it looks like on the very high level diagram. So this is like number 1 is the question UI that is asked in Copilot, and then the number 2 is the routing agent. So we actually have 3 routes. One is super generic question that can be like anything around our product or anything around the main like maintenance procedures. That's like kind of a public knowledge base for maintenance that all the customers share. And then maintenance recommendation or maintenance prescription that goes to unstructured data, and that gives a result from the recommendation knowledge. And that second route is already specific per customer. So customers do not share their prescription recommendation base with each other because for security reasons. And by the way, we just recently moved our maintenance recommendation knowledge to Cortex Search. I should probably put this on the slide, but we just did it recently, so I probably that's why I didn't put it. And the third one is talk to your data. That's where we request Cortex Analyst the question. It goes directly to the CMMS's computerized maintenance management system, and it gets the answer about the data, specific and very accurate. Then we have some evaluation of the accuracy mechanism. That's number 4 on this diagram, and then summarization and transformation that is ready for final user. So we use our own UI because it is embedded in the application. So we do not use the Cortex Analyst UI because it cannot be embedded in the application. So it creates us a little bit challenges, but I think we are on the path to resolve all the challenges that we want at least from UI perspective. So that's a kind of a summary how Copilot helps our customers. So for example, you don't need to call your supervisor. You can ask Copilot the response right away. Plus, you get the root cause analysis, and it combines the live data with manual snapshots, and that's kind of an average improvement of the diagnostics time. And that's like, if we estimate that it's like 20 minutes sooner tag, that could be avoiding a lot of like potential downtime cost for our customers. So I have a demo to show. Let me just quickly make sure I can switch to the demo here. So this is our product that is called Asset Risk Predictor, and this is Copilot. So you can see that it's embedded on the right side of the screen. So it can be like hidden or it can be enabled. And then, this is like how you just type in your question, and it can be any like form of the language that you can use. So for example, this one is for how many days did the asset have high risk score in May? And so it shows the result that this is the asset. It's called stream generation, and it just says that the high risk was for 3 days. And then you can ask follow-up questions. So in this example, can I get the dates, please? And it gives you the dates. I don't know if it's... Yeah, so this one gave the exact scores. So that's already a question about whether the risk scores, and it gives you the dates and the risk scores. Then you can provide more specific questions. So for example, provide the details for a certain time range. And so the Cortex piece, it works very well for those numeric questions. And it provides like very precise results. So all the results that you can see here, we validated them, and it really works with a very high accuracy. So this is an example when you can click on the work order that was found, and yeah, just experimenting with more questions, and you can see like the results for this asset. You can go to like precise hour, so it really like leverages all the like deep details on the tables behind it. So yeah, it's also like no matter what synonyms you use, like you use for how long, you use like different types of synonyms, it also gives you the results. And I think that, so in this example, you see it's how long it was online, it shows online, but then you can ask what date is my training scheduled. It also gives you all the dates. So it pretty much gives you all the information. And I think I have one last example where we provide the table response. So yeah, if it's a lot of information, you can use the table. That's what I mentioned, that we use our own UI. And I know that Snowflake has a lot of UI improvements for the Cortex Analyst UI, but unfortunately we cannot use it for customer-facing applications. So we have to solve some of those challenges here.
Can you show how to bring up a menu?
What?
Can you show how you bring up a menu?
Which menu?
Any menu. Can you bring up a menu?
The manual?
Can you Copilot bring up a manual on maybe how to figure something out?
Are you asking me which site you work up the history from and jump to the manual? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can. So if we have time at the end, so this is a pre-recorded demo, I can open the live Copilot and show you the option with the manual when actually routes or transits to another like prescriptive recommendation. So the main purpose of this demo was to show in specifically the Cortex Analyst part. So that's why I did not include the piece around the manuals. So we use multiple things. We use verified queries as like one of piece of information, and we also validate the results with our own like tables with the questions and outputs. I think Snowflake just released another tool for optimization. I forgot how it's called. I don't know, Ted, if you can remind me. It's not the intelligence system, but it's another one, I think. So, so there is now the optimization system that can actually run these tests automatically, but because we started earlier, we were doing it manually. So we have a team of 2 data scientists, and they created like, well, the tables to validate question and answer. And that was the time when we just started considering which solution to choose. We validated a couple different options. We tried like in-house POC, etc., and we found that the Cortex Analyst gave us the highest accuracy. But then, like, if at some point we do the monitoring, we also have in the Copilot, maybe I can, if you can scroll back a little bit. You see we also have this hands up, hands down. So we actually collect this information from users as well. And if we see something like thumbs down, we also analyze on the back end, like the result. And if it's for some reason not right, then we can either add another verified query, or like play a little bit more around the semantic models and add more context to the semantic models. So yeah, that's basically why we chose Snowflake as a solution a long time ago, and Cortex in particular recently. I think like accuracy I already mentioned, implementation as a Cortex Analyst built in in Snowflake solutions. And now after all the announcements we've heard on this conference, it's even more. Like dbt is a very huge thing. My team already following up with correspondent teams at Snowflake to start using it like tomorrow, or if not today. Trusted data, and we really like working with Snowflake. Our account manager is very responsive, always like one arm reach. So these all were really great experiences. But I should mention something. This latency problem, we do have it. It's not something that we do not have. So currently, and we did like a number of iterations to improve the latency. And we did the research with customers and with end users, because our end user experience is the most important. We are releasing it not only to internal employees, but for external customer base. Customers confirm accuracy is more important than the latency, because there are some models we can choose that will be better in terms of latency, but not so great in terms of accuracy. We still choose the most accurate model. We currently choose Claude as a core model specifically for Cortex Analyst. 20 seconds is our average response time. So for some questions, it's really fast. For some questions, it's really long. So it could be like more than 60 seconds for some questions. How we are addressing it with our partners at Snowflake. So they provided us some solutions. So we worked on verified queries. We worked on some model optimization on the back end. We also work on the UI. So we do mask latency a little bit by providing what we call micro feedback. So whenever the user asks a question, if the response takes so long, we say, we give them the information about the waiting time, etc. And we're working on even more better user experience to hide the latency. I guess with some of the new announcements from the summit, we hope that it will be improved soon. So ideally, our target is to have 10 seconds average. This is maintenance use case. Latency is not too critical, but for example, if you're financial advisory and you're doing trading, it's not acceptable at all. But for maintenance, it could be okay. Plus, it's embedded in your application, so you can still continue doing your normal operation while waiting. And that's kind of okay. We're still really aiming to reduce the latency, and we're working with Snowflake to achieve our 10 seconds on average. So yeah, I guess I explained most of it. We released it, so it took us around 4 months, I think, to release it from the day when we started working on it to production. So it's full on production right now. We are still releasing it to the limited number of customers, so it's not fully GA, it's beta release. or it's released to all customers of one of our products, Asset Risk Predictor, but not to all Fiix CMS customers, which is much bigger base of customers. And we want to release it to everyone in a couple of months. We just want to finish a couple of things that we want to do for this bigger number of customers, and ideally reduce the latency too by October timeline, which is our timeline when we want to release it for full CMS customer base. Yeah, but I still am a big fan of fast prototyping, fast, even if something is not working, fast failing, and Snowflake is very responsive. Like whenever something is not working, we just ask them and they help us to find some solution. Then if you are in the place where you can really prioritize accuracy versus latency, that would be your use case. If latency is more important, then probably you need to consider other options if they're available. You can use some of the UI improvements to talk to your customers. So setting up expectations, I also call it a little bit of a guard railing, plus monitoring the feedback, plus monitoring like everything, all the questions that being asked. And that's pretty much it, I guess. And if you're in manufacturing space or maintenance space, you can scan this QR code and reach out to our teams.